this is Dan Baldwin, and today I'm speaking with John Leach, Senior Vice President of PAETEC, in charge of channel sales and also the President of the Southern Region. John, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
John, our first question, just right off the top, in order of priority, what are the main services you want channel partners to distribute?
The main services that we're driving now and seeing the best growth out of are our MPLS products. We're getting a lot of good take on driving MPLS sales, and also the traditional services, all voice services, local long distance, internet standalone as well. We also have a full complement of security services, data backup and recovery, and network firewall services that we're giving to the agents and doing trainings on to help educate them and push those out to the field as well.
So all the managed services that they're seeing, CLECs roll out?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. Question number 2, what are the end-user target markets that are most attracted to having PAETEC as their service provider?
We're getting a lot of traction in the $25,000 and up range now, as we see some of our competitors, our larger competitors, moving away from the personalized service to those accounts. So with our nationwide footprint, the multi-location MPLS services are very attractive to those kinds of companies. We've got a lot of nice wins in the first 5 months of the year with multi-location customers. The nationwide footprint really allows us to be competitive in those types of applications. So we're seeing a lot of good traction there.
So when you say 25,000 businesses that spend 25,000 a month or more on their telecom and data.
Yeah, we're historically we've been in the 2,000 to 5,000, moving up to 10,000. But we're with the economy and the economic headwinds that have gone on, we're seeing some more movement in some of those larger accounts. So that $25,000 is a target, but the the multi-location MPLS services really are the ones that are the customers are the ones that we're really targeting and have a lot of success with in the first 5 months of the new year.
Right. So when our audience says, where's your sweet spot, you're not trying to win, the single location law firm that needs an integrated T. You have a product that will serve that, but that's not where you're trying to be hyper-competitive.
Yeah, exactly. We have product set that will serve that, and where those customers make sense for us, we'll try and win that business, but that's really not our focus. Our focus is getting the indirect folks to move up the chain and sell those larger type deals that make more sense for us and can pay the channel partners more by selling them.
Right. Question number 3, you kind of led into this. What are the channel partners that you're having the most success selling your services? Are the old-fashioned LD agents, the new-fashioned IT brick-and-mortar folks? Who are the ones that you really get excited about when you find?
Yeah, we have a very, very strong complement of a number of different types of channel personalities. We have, some large master agents across the country that do really well for us. We have some individual, 1 and 2 person shops that do very well for us, and then we also have really good relationships with people that have their own people selling for them. So there's really not one type of face that we put on the channel that we like to have. We get a nice broad range of sales and participation from really varied type of channel groups. So there really isn't one that I would target that we're having the most success with.
Mm-hmm. But it's those, I would assume. Now let me kind of ask a different question. When it comes to when we think of PAETEC, PAETEC is, you want people to know that you're a nationwide CLEC. You're reaching people with real local dial tone as opposed to, pure IP dial tone.
Exactly.
And
yeah,
so,
and the nationwide footprint is really what we're getting that message out in a number of different types of ways to let people know that we do have 83 of the top 100 MSAs now, and full complement of services to support that.
Great. So those channel partners that are selling CLEC, the ones that are selling a local dial tone, but they're into customers that are spread all over the country, that's when they really need to think PAETEC.
Absolutely.
Question number 4, who are your primary competitors for both these end users and the channel partners that sell to them?
The primary competitors that we have, just from a customer standpoint, are AT&T and Verizon, obviously, and that's really where we're seeming to gain the most traction. From a channel partner perspective, more the XO, Telepacific, and Nuvox in the south here are people that we're competing for channel and on some of the lower end sales, lower revenue type sales, specifically.
Now, I've talked to other channel chiefs, and they say, it's great to take business from other CLECs, but when you're, competing against other CLECs, it can really grind down the margin, and really the sweet spot is, we're still trying to climb up the ladder and get the big customers away from AT&T and Verizon. Is that your vision as well?
It absolutely is. I mean, we look at AT&T and Verizon as who we really want to get a part of their business. That we have such a small percentage of the business on an overall basis, and they're 115 billion in sales, and so we think that we can make a nice living off of getting a little piece of that. So that's
right.
really who we look to as our competition, and who we target to get the business that they have.
Right. Now, how are your services better than your main competitors for both end users and channel partners? We've talked a little bit about this, the sweet spots, the multi-location MPLS, but when you come up against AT&T, when you come up against Verizon, can you automatically say where you're better for both the end users and channel partners?
Yeah, we feel like we really differentiate ourselves with a personalized service that we provide, both from initially on the sales side, but in the implementation of the sale as well, and then post sale with we have a number of different groups that help support the process from the customer signing the agreement to the pre-implementation to the actual implementation to post sale. We really do a good job, and think we do the best job of personalizing that service. We have field support people that will visit the customers and do account reviews with the customers, and in the $10 to $15 to $20,000 range, you're not going to get that from an AT&T and Verizon. So we really feel like we can differentiate ourselves that way, still be competitive on price, and then we also have a complement of network engineering and service implementation folks that will help along the way as well. So if there was one thing that I would point to, it would be the personalization of that service from the time the customer signs the agreement to all the way post sale and support ongoing as a PAETEC customer.
Now, when you're going against AT&T and Verizon and you're trying to win with a personalized service where they don't get that with AT&T and Verizon, are you also trying to compete on price with AT&T and Verizon, or just save them 5 or 10% and all the personal service, or are you trying to say no, we're going to save you 30, 40, 50%?
We really think that by telling the PAETEC story and offering the services that we have in a personal way and describing that, I mean, it's a factual delivery of service. In person, when you call our customer support department, you're going to get a person answering the phone or knock as well, and but you're also going to have people that will come and visit your office, do an account review with you, and in explaining those things, describing how they work, we really think that we set ourselves apart. And then, the price is really, we feel like a good value for what we're offering. When you put it all together, the price is competitive, but we don't really lead with price. And typically we will save the customer, if it's an AT&T and a Verizon customer or something, but we really don't lead with that.
So you're going to save them enough to get the deal, but you're leading with personalized service.
Exactly.
Thanks. Question number 6. You've said you're in 83 of the top MSA markets. Do you have an easy way for agents and partners to remember the states that you're in or you're not in, or how do they remember that?
Yeah, we have network maps, both online as well as in handouts that can define pretty clearly where we are. We also have portals that you can get that information. But if you think about where we're not right now, there's Las Vegas and Cincinnati would be the two large cities that you would think of. But I think we're gonna we'll be in those markets fairly quickly over the course of the next year and a half. We just turned up San Francisco, which was a a big accomplishment for PAETEC. We've been in Southern California for a long time, but the Bay Area was really an area that we wanted to move to, and we just turned up the switch and had a formal opening there in the beginning of May.
And you have a local office there, I saw.
And yes, and open up a sales office as well as have channel managers there as well. So it was an exciting growth for us, and we're going to continue to do that in the areas that we didn't fill in with the USLEC and McLeod mergers.
Good. Question number 7: does your channel partner program have different commitment levels such that only the bigger people can come direct, and then you refer the smaller ones to your master agents, or can anybody come direct?
Anybody can come direct. We do, some referrals depending on if we just think it's better for an agent, depending on what their needs are, whether they would work through a master or directly with us. But we do have commitment levels, and we go from anywhere, and we can personalize the commitment levels as well. But the standard is $25,000, $50,000, $75,000, and $100,000 with the 4 tiers of commitment. And then we'll be flexible to amend those to the the growth and ability of the partners to hit those levels. And then we also have larger commitments for some of the larger people that have been doing business with us for long periods of time, and we feel like we should pay appropriately for that. If you're committing more revenue to us and delivering more revenue to us, we want to pay you more.
Right. Now here's an important question, number 8, that's near and dear to all of our audience. Can you share with us how the your direct retail reps compete or complement the PAETEC distributors? How do those two channels work together?
Yeah, we have our direct folks. We're really trying to move even further up market than even the channel. But we do have times when we're competing for the same business. And in that case, we have fairly clearly defined rules of engagement where we have a online system where we put quotes that are time-stamped and define when an opportunity is a real opportunity and who was in there. And in 99% of the cases, those issues are non-issues. They're handled by the field locally, and typically both parties walk away okay. In the case that people are in at the same time, we make sure that we're quoting the same price, and so that we're not competing with ourselves, and give each, both the channel and the direct person equal opportunity to win the business based on the relationship and their selling ability. And in some cases, we've even split it, where we've agreed that the agent and the rep would work together and split the deal, and we have the ability to do that. So we think we're flexible. We think we use logic to determine it, and in 99.9% of the cases, we end up with a satisfactory outcome where there is conflict. But we don't. Again, we've got a small part of the telecom marketplace, so we don't run into those opportunities or those situations very often.
And my understanding is that in any given marketplace, whether the deal comes in through the channel or the deal comes in through the direct, the sales engineers, the support staff, everything's processed the same way. A customer has equal access to that after-sales support, whether they come in through direct or whether they come in through channel.
That's exactly right. We don't differentiate between a PAETEC customer, whether it's a channel customer or a direct sales customer, in terms of the support and services they get. They'll get the full complement of PAETEC personalized service, whether they come in through the channel or the direct sales side.
Okay, good. Now, question number 9, SPIFs. Do you guys run retail pricing, agent commission programs, or do you just kind of let the program stand on its own merits?
No, we run quarterly SPIFs, and typically we keep them similar for more than one quarter, but we also tweak them from quarter to quarter to, depending on what type of businesses that we're driving or we want to drive, or what type of products that we've just added that we want to get more visibility on. A number of different things will drive that, but we've had SPIFs in the program for a long period of time. We think they're valuable to focus the channel specifically on certain things, and we'll continue to do that.
Thanks. Question number 10, any significant program or product changes that you see coming up in the future?
We're looking at simplifying the compensation plan to the channel, and in doing that, I think that it will be easier for our channel partners to administrate internally, as well as for PAETEC to administrate, which will mean we'll be paying quicker and paying with less issues. And anytime you can do that, I think you're going to have a happier channel partner as well as a happier internal commission group. So we're working hard to do that. And we think that the end result of that will be that we, will have a plan that pays very similar, if not better than the current plan, but one that an agent can feel comfortable that they're getting paid correctly on, and one that we can administrate efficiently. So that's really the main program change. Other than that, we really don't have anything else. We're still incorporating the McLeod program into our program, so that we're on one unified product set now, and that was not a small undertaking. Mm-hmm. But so that everyone is selling a PAETEC product at this point, which we wanted to do as well. We worked hard to make sure we integrated the acquisitions as we brought them in, and the McLeod channel piece was a big part of that.
Good. Question number 11, Allworks. You guys bought a IP PBX solution. What was the thought behind that, and how's that working out?
Well, the thought behind that was we really feel like we've always had our hand in equipment sales, and it's been an integral part of how we've grown PAETEC. We continue to drive equipment revenues through our partnerships with Cisco and Avaya, and we felt like Allworks was a chance for us to get on the manufacturer side of the business, and took the opportunity to do that. It was a relatively small acquisition in terms of the scope of what is PAETEC, but it's given us an opportunity to put together packages, and we're just at the onset of that bundled packages where we can bundle a neat VoIP phone solution with our network, and that's really what the genesis of that deal was, that we could put our own hardware with network services and help pull through network services by selling hardware, but being able to offer hardware at a more competitive price, and maybe to a lower end type application than the traditional Cisco or Avaya phones. So it's done that. I think that we're going to continue to get more focus on that and get more visibility on the marketing of that to the channel, and we want to do that. But anything that we can do that helps us pull through more network is a good strategy for us, and that's what the Allworks deal is helping us do.
Well, no, speaking personally, last year I sold a 140-seat Allworks deal, and it was terrific. It helped us win against ShoreTel and Avaya, and the price point was just, crazy low. I mean, the customer said they were buying it on price, and then they did. Are you planning to, in the future, only make Allworks available if the customer buys PAETEC network services, or will the Allworks equipment solution always stand separately if that's what the customer wants?
I think it will stand separately, and Jeff Howe runs Allworks. I won't speak for Jeff, but I know that there's a large distribution network of people that aren't affiliated, directly with PAETEC that that we're always trying to bring in to help sell the PAETEC network as well. But I think there's an arm there that will stand alone and distribute the hardware. That's what Allworks was doing, obviously before the relationship with PAETEC. So I think they'll continue to do that. But more and more, I think we'll continue to integrate the Allworks solution into bundles that we can give to, because and thank you for that sale. But as you said, it's a very, very competitive product that in bundling the two, we think makes the PAETEC option a stronger or an easier choice to make. But it also will help us win network business, and then we've seen that in your example, but in other examples as well.
Right. Well, I just want to say to the audience, you do not want to go into a deal where someone else is bringing Allworks to the table, because you will lose that deal. It's kind of
Thanks for that.
Kind of scary. Question number 12, the profit model. Now, I first started selling PAETEC myself back when PAETEC I first started in the early or the mid-'90s, I believe. But the profit model, where you have the minimum usage guarantee, I mean, that leaves some agents a little bit flustered because it seems like you want to do a science project in every single opportunity. Tell us how you came up with the profit model, why it's been important, and whether you think that you'll continue with that.
Well, I think it's been very important, and I think it's one of the reasons PAETEC has never, been in a reorganization or any of the other issues that a lot of our peers have found themselves in, and that is that we run every deal through a profit model, and we actually have our channel managers now and our direct sales people focused on gross margin as a part of their compensation plan. And we really think it makes the PAETEC employees much more owners of their business, and we think it allows them to make better business decisions by understanding, how the profit model works and what a deal actually contributes. And the reality is, if a deal doesn't make an appropriate contribution, we're not going to take it. And you're right, that's frustrated, some of our partners at times. But it's a discipline that PAETEC has that really has allowed us to continue to wind our way through some of the morass that other people have not been able to wind their way through, because we're making the good decisions on those, and we're not taking business just to take business. So it's a really integral part of what PAETEC is, and it will always be a part of what we're doing. I feel pretty comfortable saying that.
Well, it certainly makes sense, and you want to partner with a company that's going to stay in business, and obviously, if you're using the profit model, it lends one to believe that you will stay in business. But let me ask you this: does that necessarily make it cheaper to bring in a deal through the PAETEC direct person? Because will an agent's commissions offset that profit model?
No, because we have an SG&A load that in the model that is equal to the direct. There would be no benefit on bringing it in on either side.
Okay, so the profit
from a sales channel perspective, there wouldn't be any benefit.
So an agent shouldn't need to think, well, I have to take a lower commission or do a higher price in order to compete against a PAETEC direct. That commission balances out with your overhead.
Exactly. The one of the functions of that model has an SG&A component to it that's equal, direct versus agent.
Thanks. Question number 13, bundled products. Now, everything, I guess, used to be, a la carte in the past, but I guess on the West Coast, at least recently, you've rolled out bundled products. Has that met your expectations, and do you see, making tweaks and changes to that bundling, or is what you rolled out what you think is going to work out?
Well, I think we're at the very, very initial stages of it. As you said, it's out in the West. We actually have it out now to the United States, but it's early returns are very early, so it's too early to tell. But what we're trying to do with the bundles is come up with a way that the channel partners can easily access PAETEC pricing on simple deals, that they don't have to go through the channel manager and go through the modeling and wait for quotes back, that they can go in themselves, pull a bundle off the shelf for a simple deal, and have some flexibility in what they're going to charge in terms of the ability to waive or minimize certain pieces of it. And so that's where we're tweaking it. We're trying to make it because if the more we can offload that administration from the channel manager to the agent, allow them to go get that themselves easily with a slick online tool, the more our channel manager will be out, helping sell some of the other deals where the expertise is needed. And so that's really what the thought behind the bundles was. But I see them going through, a number of tweaks to make them better as we get more feedback from people who have used them, and as the market changes. So I think there'll be a lot more to come there. And like we said earlier, the single site T1 deals aren't necessarily stuff that we focus on, but where we can sell them competitively, we want to, and we think that the bundles packages are an easy way to do that, and a pain-free way for the agent to do that.
Okay. Question 14, equipment for services now, or even equipment for software or software for services?
Software for services, right.
You've had this program out for a number of years. Why don't you share with our audience what it is and any recent updates or how it's still working out?
Absolutely. Equipment for services is very unique to PAETEC in that we have found a way to help customers, and it's even more important in these tough economic times, the customers that may want to buy equipment or have a need for equipment, whether it's equipment that PAETEC is selling or equipment that they want to buy a copier or buy new computers or anything. We have a model that will take part of the margin from PAETEC and credit the deal. So you have, $50,000 of equipment that you want to buy, and you have a $5,000 network with PAETEC. Based on the term and the margin of the deal, and we know the deal isn't changed at all, but we take a portion of that of our margin and put it back as a credit for people that so they're actually saving money off of money that they would have spent on their network services. It's helping pay for any kind of equipment that they want. Sometimes it's a phone system, but again, as I said, it could be computers. It could be any kind of equipment that they need, and we've gotten a lot of traction with that this year because as companies are more capital constrained and money is much tighter, they're looking for ways to still grow their business or add things that they need to help continue their business, but just don't have the money to do it. EFS or SFS allows them to take some of the money that they would typically be spending on services they need today and help them pay for other services that they need to grow their business. And it really puts PAETEC as a partner with them, where it looks, it not only looks like, but it actually is PAETEC helping them to grow their business by giving them good services that they need and helping out to pay for other services that they want to buy, but wouldn't be able to in just a non-EFS environment.
And one other benefit of the equipment for services that I've experienced personally is that when you bring equipment for services to the table, you can take what might have been a 2-year agreement and do a 3, 4, even 5-year agreement because the amount of money they get back to buy equipment is based on the total spend of that contract they signed, correct?
That's exactly right. And what we see is the length of term on our EFS deals, which is obviously attractive to our channel partners, is at least a year longer and typically more than you get on a standard deal, because the customer is incented. They know the services are competitive and they need those, but it also helps them to offset some of the other costs for the equipment the longer that they go on the term. So real neat program, very very. Really differentiates PAETEC on the sales side. But again, in this environment where people are really looking for ways to conserve cash, the EFS is really well received in the market right now. We're leading with that in all of our sales calls.
And so our audience can get a gut feel for, what kind of money we're talking about. In the examples that I've run through a couple of PAETEC agent managers, if a customer is looking at signing a PAETEC contract for 3 years where the total value of that contract is, let's say with a usage guarantee, $100,000, then take approximately 10% of that, certainly based on the profitability of the customer. 10% of $100,000 is $10,000 that they can take and turn around and buy a software license or go out and buy some equipment. Is that a reasonable guesstimate?
That's a reasonable guesstimate. And as I said, every deal is unique. It depends on all the products and services, the length of term, and the price points that we're at. But yeah, it's not an insignificant amount of money. That's for sure. And that example is a fair one.
Then moving on, closing it out, biographies. Can you share with us a little bit about yourself, John Leach and Arunas, or the people who are running PAETEC? Why are these nice people?
Yeah, well, I think Arunas. One of the things that's neat about PAETEC is the C-level, at least from Arunas and EJ Butler, are both founders of the company. Arunas is CEO and EJ is COO, and then a number of the management team that is in place today were some of the original 70 some odd folks that started PAETEC, which is really unique. I think when you look at PAETEC and the growth over the years, you would typically, probably see in other companies more fallout. But I think it speaks to the caring culture that PAETEC has exhibited since the day it started, and that we have a very, very team-oriented management approach, and that's, Runis leads that, and keeps everyone involved. And I think it goes right down to the profit model we talked about, where we're allowing our sales folks to, really be involved in the business-making decisions of the business. So, that kind of culture is what sets PAETEC apart. But Arunis, chairman, CEO, and founder, E.J. Butler, chief operating officer, founder, and right down the line.
And how long have you been with the company, John?
I've been with the company for 2.5 years. I came as a result. I was the CEO of Covista, and we sold a large portion of our company to PAETEC back in 2003. And then I stayed at Covista for another couple of years, and then I came as a result of the U.S. merger that created an opportunity here in the Southeast, and that's when I joined a few months before the U.S. merger.
Super. This is Dan Baldwin. We've been speaking with John Leach, the Senior Vice President of PAETEC in charge of channel sales and the President of the Southern Region. John, we appreciate your spending time with us today. Is there anything you want to share with our audience in closing?
No, I think we've covered just about everything, Dan, but I really appreciate the opportunity to speak with you, and look forward to growing our relationship.
Terrific, and we'll look to following up with you in a couple months.
Great.